Welcome back to my channel. I'm Madela and I have my husband with me.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. It's been something it's actually taking us a whole lot to get to this point of recording right now. I guess that's what being a parent entails, Had to put the guy to sleep, but here we are. That's good. How's parenting been for you though? Let me ask you on camera.
Well, so I think it's been good. Yeah.
It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Nice.
Well, yeah, you can say it's been good also.
It's been good. Really.
It's been good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
There have been tough times, but
What are the tough times?
I would say when it's cranky, just crying, sleepy but doesn't want to sleep.
Typical boy.
So I think
Uh,
I think that's the height of it.
that's the
Besides that, I think it's just a
Do you feel for me?
fantastic boy. It's you that still doing those times now. It's you I feel for. That's the height.
Oh
It's
god.
definitely you I feel for, because of course I don't have breast milk, so I
Yeah.
can't help on that.
I'm the
front.
factory. The factory.
So pretty much, yeah.
Oh god. It's interesting, it's amazing, and it's just amazing how this stage is going to fly by so fast. I remember when I was born. It was like I was never going to sleep again. But these days he's a big boy.
Yeah.
I'm able to sleep. At least he wakes up maybe once or twice at night. Sleep normal. It's so good. There's just more responsibility, but I think over time God has just given me the grace to, just handle everything. Some days I'm like so exhausted, but some days, I'm just grateful to God for the opportunity to be his mother and to be your wife.
Yeah, so I think it's something you have to learn on. It's something you have to learn on.
You have to.
There's no absolute wisdom where parenting is concerned, so it's something you have to learn on. And there are things you've been doing before, and you find a tweak to it, and you're like, oh, this works. For example, I found out that in the morning when he wakes up, and I try to let you sleep, bring him outside. Usually I'm like, let's play, and so I turn on the lights, we play and all. But now I've gotten the tweak to that. The tweak to that is when we're out, we still keep the lights off. So in that incognito mode, I put him lying down, play maybe one or two of his cartoons. He's still calm. Unlike when he sees the light, he
just jumps and just
yes,
full of so much energy.
So I believe,
and that's from you. But I think it's actually a combination of both of us. Because our energy is out of this world.
Back to us here. So I believe the tweaks. The tweaks help. There are things you learn on the job. There are things you see from other parents, and you're like, oh, let me imbibe that, and
Yeah. But funny enough, I know you have to talk about parenting, how we met. Even how we met, I think there are different sides to the story. Because
so you could say we met because we went to the same uni. But you could
I didn't know you in uni. I never knew you. I never saw you for once.
Fair enough.
But you knew this girl, yeah.
So I would say how we met. I think it was one of our pastors.
Before you get there, Joe. The first time that we met. Okay, let's not say we met.
I don't. Which other time?
Okay, that was how.
You've been fancying me, yeah. So I used to.
Are you joking?
I saw some pictures where.
Our son is awake.
Oh my. I got.
Okay, I think we should just talk about the meeting that led us to where we are today as parents. As lovers, as my husband, as your wife.
So how did you meet? I think.
Wait.
Yes.
Let me start. I'll start. So how we met. I would say the very first time that I think that I engaged you in a conversation, it wasn't really a conversation. That was in 2018 at a wedding. Was that the first time? Yeah. It was time for the after party, and I needed to put my bag somewhere. Can't remember.
Okay.
So I met you and I'm like, can I put my bag in your car? Like, why? Why did I have to meet you? I didn't, like, the other people I knew, and I just, yeah. That was it. That was innocent meeting, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay. That was an innocent meeting, Joe.
Okay.
Then,
I thought about the guy there, innocent.
very innocent,
Okay.
brother. Then, okay, this very Sunday, when that's our official meeting and conversations that led us here. I remember one of our pastor was like, he was going to propose to his wife that day, his babe, girlfriend as at then, and he paired us up. He said he needed me to come along with the speaker, and he needed me to come along with my camera to take pictures. So we're like, okay, so it's like, oh, they don't ride with Toby. Then I remember after service that day, I was in church in the auditorium with my friends, and then you were walking past, and I'm like, hey, Toby, come, have you met? No, I'm like, are you single? Like, when I think about it, I'm like, the Holy Spirit was leading me. So I was like, Toby, are you single? Look at my friend. She's single, she's single, she's single, and I'm single. Like, when I think about it, I'm like, why did I actually say that? And then I can't remember what else we said, Sha, because you actually knew those my friends now. Can you remember what you said then?
I can't remember.
You can't remember. They left, and then so it's time for us to go.
Yeah, so I think I can pick up from that.
Yeah, you can.
So,
but if you are wrong at any point, I'm going to correct you.
That's fine. So, I think we were like
5,
inclusive of me.
Yeah.
We were 5, and we ended up it was on the island, so we're stepping up from the mainland, and I think you're seated at the right hand.
You remember I sat in the middle, brother.
In the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. Guy in front, then there's another guy. Oh, another guy sat at the right hand. Then
forget about those people. It's about us. Forget about those people.
So we got going. It was from what I remember, you were like just giggling. Then I remember them making jokes that, oh, you have one boyfriend. Do you
know that someone broke my like, what are these people? Like when I told I'm trying to spoil my
boy.
market.
They don't want that boy. I'm like, oh, everyone was just laughing, and we got to where the proposal was meant to happen. We did a whole set of.
You have missed. This is why the lady has to say something.
Okay.
So when we went somewhere first, because there was an event that we had to go for. That's where the pastor was going to be. Then his babe, they were going to come for the program together. So when we're coming back, I used your phone. No, when we're going or coming back, I used your phone to take pictures of myself, selfie. I was in front with you at this point. So I needed to transfer the pictures from your phone to my phone.
Wow.
So that's how I got your number. That's how I got your number. And then sent the pictures to my phone.
Okay.
Through WhatsApp.
Oh, yeah.
I remember what you were wearing that day.
I think I wore jacket,
this red waistcoat with black at back, and a suit. I was wearing my yellow top. I was wearing a yellow top. I can never forget that day. I packed my hair. Yeah.
So we got there, but after we like kind of set up for the whole thing that was going to happen, the coming for the proposal was late, so we had ample time. So we decided that, okay, do you know what? Let's get something to eat. Then we tried the restaurant.
Wait first. This is where I communicate. Talk to me, Dad.
Okay, I'm
listening. You guys are not as detailed as we are as ladies.
Please.
So we're hungry, so we're trying to walk.
Yes,
now, but I'm trying to say that there was this guy with us.
Yeah.
There was a guy with us.
Yeah.
And Of course, that was an innocent walking, but well, thank God Shafara didn't work out because that guy with us might have just, spoiled everything.
So that means you had it all at the
No,
back of
I
your head,
did.
right?
I did. But when I look back, I just realized that I think I might have liked you a bit. I don't know. I feel because for me to be thinking those things, and then when we were going, we held hands.
I cannot remember that. I promise you. I cannot.
We held hands, bro.
I cannot
We
remember
did.
that.
I remember.
So she said we held hands. So we went around trying to get something to eat. We didn't find, and
I think we got something to drink.
yeah, we got something to drink, and we just headed back.
And there's one place we went that day. We were like, we are going to go back.
Yeah.
We've never gone back.
Right.
We'll go back one day.
Amen. So we got back. As at then,
They were on their way. They were almost at the
there.
venue.
So everything
happened, proposed and all that.
proposal,
Yeah.
like that. And after, I remember the supposed boyfriend sent someone to say, he's somewhere right now and he needs you there. So we were like, that's what we told you. So, I think that's how it ended. That's how we parted.
Yeah, so I went to I think I was paying the bit because you were going back to the mainland, and I was going back to the mainland too, and I was like, oh, maybe I would have
The opportunity
to ride with you, but it didn't happen. But then my friend needed me. My friend needed me to the friend.
Okay.
So his manager came to pick me, and then we went. And then I remember, and this was already like almost midnight.
Yeah.
And then
about 12.
And then did you message me or call me? Then you messaged me or something that was I still on the island? I'm like, yes.
When I got home.
Yeah, I was like, yes, I'm still on the island. And they're like, oh, okay, that's have fun. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll have fun. And that was it. That was how we met. That was how we got talking. That was how where everything started from.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
And then afterwards, maybe 2 days after, you messaged me, hi, how you doing? I'm like, oh, okay, I'm fine. So we had short conversations going on like that, and then you messaged me another day, I'm like, oh, what are you up to, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's how I started talking. I don't remember.
No freaking idea.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
That was how I started talking.
Okay.
And then, so, because I saw you had messaged me like maybe twice or something, and because I said then, I don't think you're not even in that space. But, of course, as a lady, when you reached out to me like that, I noticed that, okay, I started liking you a bit. I'm like, it's not like I'm like you like that, but I'm like, oh, this guy, oh, okay, So I started messaging you too and all that.
Okay.
I can't remember the details. And then I had to go serve my NYSC.
Yeah.
And then, in camp, when there's that guy that you're able to call from that is outside and you're always talking to. Yawn.
I think I remember there's a particular day you were frustrated.
Oh God.
And you're crying and you called me like, I'm like, okay, sorry, don't take it too hard. You're strong.
His love was already talking small. So we got all that happened, and then this was 2018, 2019, and at some point, because of how accountable I am, and of course you're an accountable person too, I remember that I had to call our pastor, our senior pastor, and I'm like, sir, I have something to talk to you about. And he's like, oh, what's that? I'm like, oh, there's this guy I'm liking in church.
Oh my God.
And I tell him that I'm liking you. Hold on. And I tell him that I'm liking you and all that. And I'm like, and he's like, oh, okay. Toby's a good guy, He's actually an amazing person. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I said, let me tell you, Sal, because we'll probably be seeing each other. Like just chilling and all that. I said, okay. So I had to report myself.
We kept on talking,
Then there was one day, I think the very first time we were going to go out together. It was on a Sunday?
Yeah.
No, we were not supposed to go out. Because we started talking, I was going to sing in church. And we chatted all night. God. Ugh. We chatted all night. And then I was expecting to see you in church. And then I didn't see you. Because at this point, I started looking out for you in church. God. Oh my God, Lord. Oh. So I remember that you were not in church. So I messaged him like, but you said we were going to be in church. I think I was even a bit angry.
Yes, you're like full blown anger.
Like, why would you come to church? Why did you come to church? I was like, I had to. No, it wasn't. I think we chatted. I can't even remember. But then you're like, you need to do something. And you're like, then you said, this is what I'm saying for myself. Like, can we still sit today? I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. And then I went home. Then you came to pick me.
Yeah.
Then we went out. And I remember on that ride, I think I told you my life history.
I
was just like, I felt so free with you. I felt so like,
Man, I need a number of children, number of siblings, number of this. I don't know, really? Oh, okay. Then you start something. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. Oh, really? Okay.
I know. Eventually, it's okay. Like, eventually, when we became friends, like real G's and all that. Because at first, you didn't used to say anything. It's like, I didn't know anything about you. I'm like, I was just talking. And I'm like, what's it about this guy?
So I think the reason for that is, I think it had a lot to do with growing up. So I'm like the go-to person to say, oh, what's wrong?
Oh, you explained that to me.
So
everybody comes to talk to you about
ears.
things.
Oh, that's fine.
Listening ears.
So
and nobody ever really asks you what.
I know when people get going like that and like, oh, this is. I'm like, oh, really? Then I'll now say, so how about? I'm like, oh, and we could go on
for
and
hours.
on and
And that, well, I broke through. Yeah. I remember they're talking to me. I'm like, please don't stop. Oh my goodness. So we're friends, yeah. And we're just, we used to go out a lot. We used to go to the movies, go and eat some nice place and all that. And there was a particular day. There's a day we went out. And I was like, just acting up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, and in my mind, I'm like, I was already in that place where I was talking, like, man, this guy was talking, this chilling, and has not said anything. I'm
like, oh, maybe she's just going through one of those days that she's in a mood, so let me just give her space. And I'm like, oh, no. They're like, yes, no. I'm like, okay. I just chilled too. I was just looking.
Oh my God, like such days. And I think one of the things that happened was that from a lot of people's story and experience, or how it's supposed to be in life, is that the guy is supposed to, of course, not like I asked you out, but I asked, like, what's up? So I remember the day we went, the very first time I asked you that question of what are we doing was one of the days we went out.
Yeah.
And, we were eating, but while we were eating, what was in my mind was, how am I going to ask this guy this question? Like, and I didn't ask, it was a nice time, but by the time I got to the car, I'm like, when I got to the car, I now said, no, I asked you before we left there. I summoned up courage and eventually asked him, like, we've been talking for a while now, and all that. Like, what are we doing? And you look at me with shock. And you're like, where is this coming from? I'm like, I'm not sure that's what you said, but he said something. I'm like, and then he said, you want to ask me a question, that we're friends? I said, yes. And you said, is that not, I'm not sure if you said, is that not enough? But I actually asked, and I remember you talking about being friends and all that. I'm like, okay, all right. And we left, And why you went to drop me at home, you're like, you give me the answer to that question on Sunday. Sunday came and you never mentioned it. It was like the conversation never happened. I'm like, what? Then I was talking to, I was actually talking to about 3 people. And I know girls now with gist, so I already just said my friends, like, you know, this is the vibes and all that I'm getting and all. But he's not saying anything. So I remember the second time I asked that question was after service. I remember after service in church, I sat it down and I'm like, the very first time I asked you this question, you didn't answer. That why? But I'm going to ask again. Now what are we doing? That we're just hanging out. But is because I was not going to ask you out. Of course not. I wasn't going to. But I was going to ask, like, just be sure of what was on your mind and all that. And then you still did not give me a concrete answer. Why?
So I think if I'm to answer that well, I would say I think usually guys they are not sure of when it comes to commitment, especially when you're like demanding an answer and all of that. Guys are not. Most guys are not always forthcoming, right? They will
scared of commitment.
not, yeah, if you want to put it that way, but not wanting to commit, like
Just want to live free, like
not from that angle. More let it not be that is what this I said that I will now say, but you said that kind of thing. So yeah.
So there's fear.
So I don't think yes.
Oh, okay. So well, I think for me one of the things I'm trying to say, because this is like a February is like usually like a month of love. Everybody's all loved up and all that.
Yep.
So for me, one of the things I'm trying to say is sometimes you might. It's not like you're asking the guy out, but just for your own sanity, for your own safety, just for your own peace of mind. I don't think it's a bad thing to ask. I know a lot of people don't agree to that, but for me, it was what I could do. And I think sometimes it also depends on the personality of the person. Yeah. So I used to be sanguine, but now I'm more of a melancholic. Yeah. So there's that place where you might have to ask, because I think there are a lot of guys that actually canopy a lot of ladies. Like canopy, I mean, they just stay around them, you know, and then you know, and they are not forthcoming anything. But I think for your own safety and just for you to know where you are headed, may I ask though, so that you know I was going to be in the clear. It's not like there were like a lot of guys that were coming my way and all that, but for me at this point I'm like, well, I like this guy. I want to know if there's anything here or I should just move on. You know, it's funny that I started calling you my husband. But at this point, we're not even dating, no. But I think our friendship was just so we're so much into each other as friends. Like we really cared about each other, you know. And at this point, I knew that if I was going to marry anybody, I was going to marry you. So at this point, I think I still call you for
call for things that mean that I'm just doing it. Okay.
You know, so. But it was, at that point, it was all like just vibes, you know. But, but I was calling you forth. Oh my goodness! I remember 2019. You had your cousin had his wedding, and I went as a date. However, we were just friends, so that was November, and I remember you were like, "Oh, you want to introduce me? I should come. I should follow you." So I followed you. I'm like, "How are you going? You're not going to. You don't answer me." So as we were going, we should got to a car. Then someone came out, and you were like, "I'll meet my mom." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Mommy, good evening, man." She's like, "Oh, my darling wife, my darling daughter." I'm like, looking at you. I'm like, "What have you got to say at home that you've not said to me, guy?" Why? Can you remember that situation? Can you remember that scenario? What did you even tell your mother about me that you did not tell me?
Okay.
Nothing. Oh, okay. But she said the other guy, at that point I'm like, okay. But well, back and forth ever. January 1st, 2020, you asked me out.
Yeah.
That's another story. Because that's another story.
That's totally different story.
That's another story.
Yeah.
For the lady. Or never. So, but before we even got to this point, so there are two things I want to point out. The fact that I asked what are we doing and all that. I think a lot of people should have the courage, a lot of ladies should have the courage to be able to ask that question. It's not like you're asking the guy out, oh, will you date me, be my boyfriend, or that, but it's just for your state of mind, just to know if it, especially when you're liking the person. And two things can either happen. Is that the guy will see it as like you being desperate, or the guy is actually mature enough to know that, okay, you just need clarity about what you guys are doing, which you are really mature about, you know, and the place of accountability, you know, me being able to be accountable to people that were ahead of me and to my friends that, oh, this is what's happening, this is what's going on, and in that place of accountability, the people that were your friends, were your pastors, were able to talk to you and like ask you questions, you know, about what's happening and all that, and you're able to answer them. And one of the things I appreciate from your end is that in all of this, even them asking you, how far, what's up, you know, it didn't put pressure on you to want to like commit, you know. But even I'm like, guy, be fast. But eventually you did, and
I think.
What do you have to say about that from your answer?
I think from my own angle, from my perspective, it was more. I was careful not to say, oh, and people were like on you, and because of what people were saying, you just went on with it. But you know, the flip side to that also is that there's no guy, except, well, let me make it conclusive, but usually guys will always tilt towards the decision of people that have an influence on them. So more their friends, people they see as mentor, family, and all of that. So guys will always tilt towards that. But I was particular that it's not. I don't want it to be that it's because people said, the pressure, people were thinking, people taught you guys, and because of that, and I said, oh, I would go ahead. I wanted to be like, okay,
my decision,
because in the long run, commitment is decision. It's your decision. It's you saying, I choose, I decide, I commit, and all of that. So yeah, that's it from my end.
Well, so yeah, those things are actually important, you know, and there's no one size fits all for anybody,
especially for a relationship.
There's no one size fits all.
Definitely not. You could hear a story and you'd be like, oh, that's so sweet, and you try to want to inculcate that into your relationship and it doesn't work. So I think different people come with different way of navigation. So you just have to know the person.
Yeah, you have to know the person. You have to know the person, and you have to be friends. Because I think till today, our friendship is still like we're still solid G's even in marriage. You know.
Yeah.
Like my G, you guys.
It's crazy because I hear. I was to say so. You know.
This is funny.
It's awkward. I think from the third year we started talking, maybe second, third year. When you meet someone, you try to like form, oh, I'm composed, I'm comported, and all. But I think from the second year of meeting her, man, I just whenever I need to do the noisy thing that you want to excuse yourself, just to not don't embarrass yourself. And I'm like, just
are you talking about farting?
Yeah,
oh God, is that what you're calling the noisy thing? Oh
see me as I am. She's like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, I don't categorize you friend till you have seen me through the story. Of course, that's not that shouldn't be. But you know, and there was a day, and I'm like, do you fight? Like, yeah. I'm like, oh really? But,
Friendship solidified.
that's just
Oh my
the story. But yeah, friendship very important.
Yeah, it's very important. You know, it will last. It's what will keep your marriage going. You know.
Then I think it's what it enables communication, especially when the challenges and the issues you're going through, because you guys are friends. It's easy that when you are like you report me to someone, of course, I think for me, and I think for most men, the first mode we move into is defense, which is like, how will you do that? Like, but you know, there are times where you have to report your partner.
You have to report.
Like,
and if you are not able to report your partner, I know some people are in relationships or marriages where you're not able to. That's why the partner, both of you have to understand the place of accountability and the place of being teachable. Because if you're not teachable, you don't want to be reported and you don't want someone to correct you or something. You know.
Of course, because naturally, every guy has that ego in there, and you know, when someone is taking your matter to someone else, kind of
into taking your matter to someone else.
Like ego, but the first mode could be defense, but eventually, because you guys are friends, you reason that I'm a magician. So that's why friendship it's totally 100% important, 100%, because it solves most fights before they happen.
Yeah. True.
Things that would normally cause a rift. You guys,
and even when you have like arguments or when you have issues, it's easy for you to, like you said, communicate. They're able to talk about it and just let go. It's just like when you have misunderstanding or something with your friend and you guys just talk it out and all that. It's the same thing in marriage.
Yeah, because I've had friends that are like, man, this guy will not call. I'll call him again, and after a while you just say, how far? And you that you're different, you know that this guy just, I'm like, gee, and so I think friendship is just it's important. You can't overstate it. You can't overemphasize it.
Yeah. Of course, you cannot leave out the place of prayer. Even when I was in my feelings, I took it to God. Even before talking to people, I took it to God to be like, God, okay, I like this guy and all that, and. There was a go ahead of there was I was just okay about it, So even in my spirit, I felt okay, something like I was at peace, yeah. That's there. But I didn't see anything wrong with me seeing myself with you, and I was just okay about it, So yeah, here we are today with our baby. See, ladies out there, is what works for me might not work for you, so know the person that you are having
I think I can help. Know yourself first.
Know yourself first.
Then know the person
that you are liking, that you
are friends
with, that you want to get a relationship with. So be accountable, don't do relationships in isolation. I remember that sometimes I was saved from certain things because I reported myself. I'm like, hello,
relationship in isolation.
I'm reporting myself, and then they helped me put boundaries and helped me, avoid certain things that would have happened in the relationship. So be teachable. And all these things are important for you as a person, because by the time you get into marriage, it might not be the time to start learning how to be this.
Yes.
Because when you get to marriage, it's expressions. You begin to express.
I think I would like to highlight what someone said. So for marriage, the I do is more of the things you don't know about the person.
I commit to it.
I commit to it. So the things I've known about you, I know them, but for those that I'm about to find out,
I do. I commit
still
to those
do.
things.
So it's important that some things are built
Before
marriage, so that there's no wholesome list of things you have to like get to know and find out beforehand. So yes.
Okay. Well, I hope we've been able to talk about how we met and been able to, just share these few things. We've been married we're going to be 2 years this year, and I don't think that you have to wait to be 5 years in marriage before you can just share 1 or 2 things. I mean, there are some people that are about to get into relationships, and from your own experience, there are things that they will learn, So, yeah, I hope you get blessed by this video. Thanks for joining me on this today.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for viewing and for your subscription.
Oh, thank you. All right. Sorry about the distractions in the video, but I mean, we're parents, and that's reality. It's just us taking care of our child. So, thanks for joining in today. Make sure you subscribe, share the video, and like it.